This is what I'm talking about here, baby. This is the life. This is what I want, man. A nice house out in the country. Nice little pond there, stocked with some nice fish. No neighbors sitting next to you. You can blast the music as loud as you want. This is what I'm talking about, baby. The country life. That's my goal, man. That's what I want. That's coming up. All right, let's see if I can get a little flyby in out here in the back country, baby. I get a lot of questions about the paint scheme on my bike. This 2008 CBR 600RR, the Red Bull paint scheme. And for those of you guys that didn't know, I'm probably sure a lot of you guys know, these are aftermarket fairings. This is not a paint job. Actually, it is a paint job, but it came that way on the fairings that were purchased and put on this bike. So these are not OEM fairings, for those of you guys that didn't know. But I get a lot of questions about these aftermarket fairings, also known as Chinese fairings, because most of them are made in China. Not all of them, but most of them. And first off, I want to tell you that, of course, these fairings are a hell of a lot cheaper than OEM fairings. OEM fairings generally run, if I were to get a whole brand new set on this bike here, it would probably run me, I don't know, in the thousands probably. On eBay, people that sell their old OEM fairings, I don't know, for various reasons. Some people sell their fairings because they want to get some race fairings. They want to turn their bike into a track bike, and they have to get race fairings, so they figure that helps fund their hobby of hitting the racetrack. So they generally, these used OEM fairings on the CBR 600RR usually run up to anywhere from like $700 to like $1,500, depending on the condition of the fairings. And mind you, these are used fairings, so that's, I mean, it's super expensive. So a lot of people opt to go with the Chinese fairings, which generally run, it depends on the quality that you want. They generally run anywhere from $300 to $700 for a whole set of fairings. Now what you need to know though is when you get aftermarket fairings, you have to make sure that the quality, that it's the ABS plastic and not the PVC plastic. The ABS plastic is a more durable and stronger plastic. It's going to be a more high quality plastic compared to the PVC plastic. So if you definitely want to stay away from the cheap plastic fairings, because they'll crack. They're just, it'll be a mess. It'll be basically a waste of money. So you pay for what you get. And that goes with, even Chinese fairings. I love doing that shit, man. But anyways, yeah, you want to make sure you get the ABS plastic. You also want to go on the forums and go in there and do some research and see what some of the guys are recommending. I'll tell you, on most Chinese fairings, I'd say probably about 90% or more or better, you're going to have some sort of fitment issue with these fairings fitting on your bike. I don't know why. I don't know why they can't just do an actual duplicate copy of the OEM fairings in the mold so that they fit perfect. But anyways, I don't know. They all seem to have fitment issues. Like I said, you want to check with the forums. One of them, if you have a Honda CBR 600RR or a leader bike, the CBR 1000RR, go on the forum. The 600RR forum is 600RR.net. Check out that forum, or the Fireblade forum. whatever, you know, whatever your bike is, check the forum for it. See what those guys are recommending for aftermarket fairings. Generally, it takes about 2 weeks to get the fairings because they're coming from out of country. And I'll tell you, with these fairings that I have on my bike, I can tell you firsthand about these fairings because I have them on my bike. And first off, when I bought this bike, I really didn't know about the whole aftermarket versus OEM fairings. I really didn't know it made that big of a deal. That really, I probably should have got this bike a little bit less than what I got it for, even though I got a pretty good deal because they gave me such a great trade-in deal on my 2011 CDR 250R. They gave me $3,500 and I paid $6,500 for this bike. So generally, you know, if I sold my bike on Craigslist, I probably could have got $3,500, but it would have taken forever. I did put it on Craigslist for a while, and it didn't sell too quick. So I really wanted to hop on a CBR 600RR. So I said, to hell with it, man. If they give me a good trade-in deal, I'll trade in the CBR 250R and go ahead and get this CBR 600RR. And it all worked out pretty good, you know. Like, I probably could have haggled them down probably another good $500 or so had I known about the whole aftermarket fairing deal. But anyway, these fairings are the paint job is good on them. As you guys see in a lot of my videos, I have some up close video I'll include in this video, and you can see the paint job on this is excellent. You know, very few flaws on it at all. You know, it's not 100% perfect, but yet OEM fairings are not going to be 100% perfect either. I'm sure you'll be able to find a hairline mark or a little bubble or something here and there on the fairing. Possibly not. I don't know. But usually, you know, not everything is perfect. So, but this, I'll tell you, is excellent. The paint quality is excellent on here. And if you take care of your bike, you make sure that you wash it often and that you put a good coating of a wax on here to protect the finish, these fairings will last a long time. The paint job, like I said, it's an excellent paint job on here. Now, as far as the fitment issue on this bike, the only issue that I've seen on this bike, I haven't had any problems with the fairings coming loose or anything like that. The fairings are on here fine. The fairings underneath the headlight, it doesn't connect all the way to the end. But it's more or less a cosmetic issue as opposed to actually holding the fairings together. It just will leave, if you don't put a twisty underneath the headlight connected to the top of the top fairing or whatever the hell that's called. It'll just leave like a little gap. But the dealer, they put these aftermarket fairings on and they put one twisty tie on each side that cleans up the gap perfect, and it looks great, as you guys see in my videos and all. And like I said, it has nothing to do with holding the fairings up on the bike at all. All the fairings are bolted on fine. The fitment everywhere else on the bike is fine. Now, I'm not saying, you know, that it's going to be that way for everybody that gets a aftermarket fairings for their bike, but I'm just telling you my experience so far with this bike, as far as, with the aftermarket fairings. And like I said, nothing's coming loose on this bike whatsoever. And I'll tell you, if you do decide to go with aftermarket fairings, take your time with it. You may have to, from what I hear, like I said, I didn't put these aftermarket fairings on my bike, but from what I hear, if you take the time and you do it right, now sometimes you may have to Dremel the holes maybe a little bit wider, and just take some TLC with the fairings, and they will fit pretty good. For most people that I see on the forums, a lot of them, if they do it right, the fairings will be fine. And the fairings will look fantastic on your bike, as you see on my bike. They look great. To be honest with you, if something were to happen to these fairings, you better believe I'd be getting another set of aftermarket Chinese fairings. As far as I'm just saying, like if I went down on the bike and I trashed these fairings, I definitely would not go get a set of old, used OEM fairings off of eBay. I'll tell you that. Because a lot of times the tabs are broken on them. They have hidden scuff marks, scratches. You know, a lot of time people aren't disclosing exactly what's going on with those fairings. And I'm not gonna pay like $1,000 or $1,500, man, for somebody's old, used, broken tab fairings. You know, to me, the plastic is not all that important to me. You know, my main concern is to make sure the bike is mechanically sound, the engine is great, everything else is great on the bike. You know, I'm not into this whole perfection with the fairings bullshit that a lot of you sport bike riders have. You know, you guys, some of you guys are just perfectionists. Like everything has to be exactly 100% perfect, and I don't know, man. Sport bikes really weren't meant to be that way. These bikes these are made for the track, you know. And on the track, they usually put race fairings on them, man, and they go down on those bikes a lot of times. They put, you know, you put the frame sliders on there. But these bikes are made to take a little bit of abuse, man. This is not like a Harley where you keep that bitch in pristine condition and polish the chrome and you don't want even so much as a hairline mark on your bike and all that. You know, those are for Harley riders or cruisers, you know, not for sport bike riders, man. You know? Don't worry about like your bike being in perfect, pristine condition. You know, if I bought this bike brand new, you know, and had, of course, it comes with the OEM fairings. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this as in good a shape as I can. I'm gonna try to keep it as new as I can for as long as I can. But if I get a little mark, I'm not gonna bitch out and go all crazy and, you know, and have to replace that fairing and so it's in perfect condition. I mean, like I said, that's for the Harley riders, not for the sport bike riders, man. You know? We're riding these bikes because we love speed. You know, we love hitting the twisties, carving the twisties, carving the canyons, you know? Having a good time, having fun on this bike, not just cruising, you know, on these long country roads like I'm doing right now, you know. But yeah, guys, I mean, don't hesitate to get the Chinese fairings. Just make sure you find a good vendor, you know, that has good customer service and that sells good quality Chinese fairings. Like I said, not all the Chinese fairings are equal. Some are going to be better quality than others. Just like with the Chinese scooters. Some people like to group all the Chinese scooters together and say, oh, they're all shit. They're not all shit. The reason I bought the BMS Pathfinder 200 scooter that I had was because I got a good recommendation from a lot of experienced riders, scooter riders on the scooter forum. And they told me there was a guy on there, a few guys that had 30,000 miles on their BMS Pathfinder scooter. But my main point is not all Chinese stuff is the same. Not all of it's shit. So as far as any Chinese, as far as any vendors, good vendors that sell Chinese aftermarket fairings, I can't give you any because, like I said, I haven't bought any from them. But I'm thinking very seriously of changing my scheme up and going with the white graffiti. They're hard to find, but if I can find a good set from a good vendor, I may think about changing the set over and do a full video on doing, you know, installing Chinese aftermarket fairings. So we'll see. But yeah, guys, don't hesitate. Get those aftermarket fairings, man. It's gonna make your bike look like almost brand new again, and it's gonna save you a ton. You know, I wouldn't waste my time unless you find an awesome, perfect, you know, pristine condition set of OEM fairings on eBay or on Craigslist or something for a good price. Otherwise, man, I wouldn't trust it because, like I said, a lot of them have broken tabs and scratches and scuffs, and And you know, I wouldn't pay all that much money to have to sand and prime and have it professionally repainted and all of that shit, man. It's just pay $400-500 and get you a set of Chinese aftermarket fairings and you'll be good. But if you have any other questions at all, feel free to drop me a comment. If you want to add to the conversation, drop a comment. That's all I have for you guys, and we'll see you in the next video. Until next time,
catch you guys later.